Slimehouse TV at HorrorCon UK, Something Wicked 2019, just here with the one and only Sean Pertwee. How you finding the con so far, dude?
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I've had such fun, and it's also like coming to the first HorrorCon I've ever been to. Normally it's for other shows I've done, but there's a lot of love out there, and a lot of memories, actually. People remember a lot more about some of my career than I do, actually, to be honest. So, you know, talking about some of the old films that we did, like Dog Soldiers and ID, which we filmed around the corner in Rotherham and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's been brilliant. Lovely bunch.
An Event Horizon, I've heard that thrown around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the Event Horizon, it's funny because I've met sort of the second generation of people that now watch it, like their folks watched it initially, and now their 17-year-old kids watch it and are equally scared. So we did something right, you know what I mean? So it's still got legs, as they say, you know.
Yeah, it must be crazy, like, if you're making these films, like, so long ago and stuff, and then people, are, like, a whole new generation now is finding out about it. How would you feel about that?
But nothing but sort of pride, really. I mean, there's a lot of people we're here because of Dog Soldiers and things like that, and that's what I find so strange is films like Dog Soldiers over in America, where I've been working for the last 5 years, massively popular over there, and it was a kind of film that could have been considered sort of hokey. We made it for very little money with Neil Marshall, and it was one of his first major motion picture. But, you know, we shot it chronologically, which means in order, like the Hammer House of Horrors used to. So it's still got legs, and people, it's sort of part of people's sort of beer Saturday night culture as they watch that film. I mean, I watched it myself the other day, and it is actually really rather good.
Yeah, it holds up well.
You know, I mean, it does hold up well, yeah.
Yeah, we used to run our own cinema. We showed Dog Soldiers, and it went down amazing, yeah.
I heard that some people do this thing where they do it on a full moon in the middle of the woods, which I actually want to go to. I'd like to do that one day.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
wicked. Go and see it, yeah.
Just talking a little bit about acting, like, 'cause we're filmmakers,
Yeah,
we talk about a lot of acting on this show. We always like to ask, what do you think makes a good director? As an actor who's so seasoned and been on so many different sets, from Sharp, like ID, and then Gotham, and all the new stuff you've been around, you've been on this all your life, haven't you, with your dad and that kind of thing. Like, what do you think makes a good director as an actor?
Well, I mean, being narcissistic, actors always think it's about them, but in my opinion, a good director is something where you have conflict in a way, where you both discuss something, you come from different angles and you reach the same point. That creates frisson, that creates art in a way, because basically you're coming from two separate ideas. So to have someone like Neil Marshall, who is a brilliant writer-director, and I'm about to do a movie with him called The Reckoning, or the same sort of crew as Dog Soldiers, really. To have a writer-director really understand something, but be willing to listen to your subtext with concerning your character, or concerning the movie, that is, for me, is someone who accommodates your opinion as well. You know, but each their own. Sometimes, I mean, I work with a guy called Ronnie Yu, who he's done about 150 movies in Hong Kong. He's done like the Bride with the White Hair and all these kind of crazy movies. And Sam Jackson asked him to direct this film called 51st State that we did. So he shoots to edit, so which is something that we're not used to necessarily in this country. So he'd go cut just when you thought you were getting into something, but when you actually see his vision of the movie, again, it's special in a different way. So it depends. It depends what their style is, you know. So that's what's the great thing about our job, is you get the opportunity to work with different people and have different styles, and, you know, so, yeah.
So what would your advice be to a director working with actors? What's the best way to approach an actor to get the best performance?
I think always work from the script, always go through. This is the thing, is that people give, especially on independent films, they give such good pitch. They're so used to selling their idea that they take their eye off the ball. And really what you should do is workshop it, rehearse it, and work with the script, and go minimum of 10 drafts before you actually even stand it up and film it. Yeah. Everything that I've ever done that's been, I consider good, has gone through that process. Excuse me.
And as an actor, like, as I say, you're seasoned, you've done so much. What would your advice be to actors now wanting to break into the industry, in an industry now that, like, with the internet and stuff, is just like swamped with people wanting to get into stuff? Especially in England, because we're British, you know what I mean? It's a different thing.
It's a very different thing, and it's a different business now. I mean, like I said, I've been away for 5 years, so it's a different process. Before you were allowed to do television or film, you used to have to do 5 years. I'm sorry, 6 months to get your minimum equity card, a half equity card, before you were allowed to go on television and do a film. So a lot of my generation that are in America at the moment, filming in television shows, everything you turn on has got a Brit in it, and because we're all sort of theatre trained, and that's this kind of weird difference between us. But now, with the birth of Netflix and all the streaming shows and streaming channels, there's so much sort of content out there. So the thing is my advice would be to all you have is who you are and what your difference is, whether it be good or bad, and just prepare yourself for rejection, because, you know, we get most people might move careers maybe 2 or 3 times. We move careers every job that we do. And we get turned down and we get rejected constantly, and it's to be tough-skinned and just hang in there. So my advice is, you know, the best of luck, be lucky, and I'll see you in the audition room.
And how do you deal with that? Because obviously, like you said, there is a lot of rejection as an actor, like as an artist or any kind of artist that does something and then gets disheartened and knocked back. How do you deal with those knockbacks and those hard times? How do you persevere?
You just have to you have to persevere, because it's the weird thing is you always seem to get offered work in a way when you don't want it. If someone sees, a director sees something in your eye when you go into an audition or an interview or a meeting for something, and you're not particularly bothered, you always seem to get offered that one. But the ones that you really want, you never get, because they always find something interesting in the fact that you're sort of despondent about the piece and things like that. That's been my experience a lot of the time. I've been offered and the jobs that I'm desperate to get, I often don't get. I overcook it, kind of thing, you know.
So just to embrace whatever you get and make it the best.
Also treat auditions, that's another really important thing, is to try, something I've learned in America, you do your work on an audition and treat it as a full performance. You never know, often you get sides, you never know what the rest of the script's about or anything like that, but you go in with a definitive idea of what you're doing, and maybe you might hit gold, you might get a bullseye, you know.
So you say you're working on this new film with Neil Marshall, The Reckoning.
Yeah.
Have you got, I know you can never really say too much, but have you got anything in the pipeline that we can look forward to?
Well, there's the Reckoning with I talked about before with Neil, and then there's a fantastic actor called Craig Conway who's in a lot of Neil's films that I wanted to bring down here actually. He's in Doomsday and everything. He's doing his directorial debut for a film called Kruger that I've been attached to with him for many years. I think Neil might be co-producing it, but again, it's with Sam McCurdy, and it's a little film. But it's one of the best scripts I've read by Paul Cronell, and we did a movie that he wrote before called Four, and this is his second movie that we're going to do of his, and we're shooting that in South Africa, I hope, in September.
Wicked. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming to HorrorCon. It's been wicked. You've got a big queue of people waiting, so we're not going to keep you for too long. Right. Just lastly, if people want to keep up to date with you, where's the best place?
Well, I'm not quite sure, because I'm a baby boomer. I'm not even a millennial, but I do Instagram. So I sort of, the best place is Instagram, really, because I post loads of backstage photos and things like that. And so
we follow you on there, so we'll put a link on the video.
Sean Pertwee, and that's it.
No worries. Well, thanks again. We'll let you get back to your table, but appreciate it. Thank you. Slimehouse TV at HorrorCon UK, something wicked. Pow!